So a bit of a story how Lotzy and I met. I'm at a pub at a Joe Camilleri concert with Miss Buttons. And she's dancing away and we're drinking and having a great time, and this drunk comes up to, "Hey, you're Steve from Big Bike Adventures, aren't you?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "I wasn't sure if it was you or not, but then I saw Miss Buttons and I went, yeah, that's her. That's that." Anyway, we got talking and he's just picked up a Desert X. So we're out having a ride. There'll be some more of that coming up, but very, very cool motorbike. Cool guy and a lot of fun. I think there'll be more concerts coming up in the future, mate.
Oh, plus rides.
Plus rides, yeah.
Spend a bit of time down on the Northern Rivers.
Yeah, well, I don't get an option these days, mate.
No, you don't.
It's a ride day today. Look at this beast. That's the 701, obviously. This is Lotzy's Desert X. The DUCATI Desert X. So BBA on DDX.
Hey, there we go.
And Lotzy stupidly has given me the key.
I have.
Oops. That is so long, isn't it? So the steering damper stock?
Yeah, stock.
Everything's stock?
Everything's stock except the crash bar.
Oh, right, okay. Optional extra.
Other than that, everything's full stock.
Very, very good. So, actually, I'll show you something. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Very cool. Very cool instrument.
I'll follow you.
Yeah, sure. It's a lot smaller. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it doesn't actually feel that much bigger than the 701. Like, it feels way smaller than the Africa Twin. Ah! The hell was that?
So this is not a detailed review of the DUCATI Desert X. It's a new bike to the market and it's attracted a lot of attention, and there's so many great videos out there on YouTube where people have gone into a lot of detail and just pulled this thing apart. That's not this video. This video is a first impressions from an experienced rider who's taking a new bike out for the first time and just giving my overview on it. So far, so good. It's a really comfortable bike. So this bike's got 6 different rider modes. Each one of those rider modes has got customizable traction control, ABS, engine management system, and wheelie control even. And I love that. I think the technology is great. I think probably most people will just choose 1 or 2 settings, customize them to their own requirements, one for off-road, one for on-road, and that'll probably be it. So the rest of it's kind of a bit of an overkill, but cool that they've got it. But the first impression on this thing as I took off up the street in sport mode was just how comfortable it was. The suspension felt great, the bike felt really well planted, the steering was terrific, the handling felt really light, and it was just a nice bike to ride.
So the ergonomics on this thing are terrific. It doesn't have a little bit of a rise there, but I got to say, pull up away for Lotzy. It's actually a really nice bike. It's comfortable. Man, that suspension's nice.
It is, isn't it?
So nice. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? By comparison.
It is from going from that.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like just the feel of this compared to that, like just on the grip, it's the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
And the other thing I like is I can see what gear I'm in.
Yeah. Overrated. But it's beautiful. I'm actually, it feels really comfortable straight off the bat.
Yeah.
So good. But it is very tall, that side stand.
So at this point, I'm trying to explain the complexities of changing the rider mode. Lotzy had given me a bit of an overview, before we started, but my big mutton fingers, I've obviously pressed the wrong button, and I've managed to start the lap timer rather than switch it from sport mode to rally mode. That's okay. One of the things I really liked about this was how unintrusive the traction control was in this setting. I mean, there's lots of different settings, of course, and lots of different variations of it, but coming from an early Africa Twin where the traction control was clunky and really, really obtrusive and abrupt, to this now super smooth. Traction control on the 701's really, really nice. It's modern. It doesn't get in the way too much, but this is just at a different level again altogether. It was really, really nice. Just kept you pointed in the right direction without actually trying to spear off into the bush or back you through a corner, which I would like to have tried, but couldn't figure it out. The other thing I was doing was just jamming the brakes on to activate the ABS to get that to work. And again, just flawless behaviour from the bike. The electronics package did exactly what they were supposed to do, and they are legitimate rider aids. So good.
That please keep the turn on the left. Off, what's that? Off. Yeah, that's nice. Alright, so my first impressions are suspension and brakes outstanding. Really, really like it. The weight is deceptively, it's light. Like it's listed at 210 kilos, I think, so, or 200, somewhere around there. It actually feels about the same weight as my 701. Looks, I really like it. Electronic packages, I'm not a big fan. Anyone who's seen my channel, no, I'm not a big fan of the electronic packages. And just riding along then, yes, and it's stuff you can learn, I get all that. There we are, now it's doing it. So I want to put it into rally mode. Okay, so that's going to limit the traction control. I know you don't have to stop to do it, but I've done something while I was riding along and I didn't know how to do it. So let's try it in rally mode. But when I tried it in sport mode, traction control was limiting, and that's okay because it's a new bike and I don't want to do anything kind of ridiculous on Lotzy's bike. Control and ABS, there's another one coming. So that's allowing me now to lock that back up completely, which I think is terrific. That stand is actually quite long, like the 701. All right. Like normally you get on a bike, you straight away go, oh, that doesn't feel right, or I don't like that. There's none of that with this. There's no standout, I don't like that part. You got the same problem with the side stand as I've got the 701. It's just a bit long, but the weight feels good. The brakes and the ABS and traction control, sensational, so good. Like I was punting along there, and I happened to go, okay, this is Lotzy's bike, back off, back off, back off.
I send the slides.
But it was just doing it so well. Like just the traction control was maintaining. The traction control was maintaining control. It was doing what it was supposed to do, and I couldn't figure out how to change it on the fly. I started that trip computer, the lap timer again, so I don't know how I did that. So I stopped, turned it off, turned it back on again, put it into rally mode, and then it was enabling me to lock the back up and just
slide around.
Just have a little bit more control of that if you want. But that's all just in the standard settings, and it's all fully customizable, so you can actually learn to get to know it. Well, the thing I really want to learn on this thing is the wheelie control.
You can turn it on and off in all the modes.
Oh, excellent. That's what I need to know. But again, my gripe with bikes like this has always been too much electronics. Like the way that they've done it is great, but I prefer the 701 and the Africa Twin in the sense that it's on or off. Yeah. You have it there if you want it. You don't have to go searching through menus. You don't have to go looking through all the different things. It doesn't make it anything wrong with it, and it's a personal preference. Just be really clear before I get all the hate mail. It's a personal preference, but I can understand for guys who are new to dirt or you know are getting back into riding for a while, after a while off the bike, that sort of stuff is really handy, and I get all that.
Yeah.
Personally, it's probably for me. It's a little unnecessary. You know, I prefer to have a bike that's just like that's traction, two settings, traction control, ABS on and off, and I've even commented that's a bit too much. You know, I like the Africa Twin, turn it off completely, just ride it and improve your skills. But I understand there's lots and lots of people out there who are coming from motorbikes that haven't been on the dirt and they need help, and I get all that, and that does it perfectly. It's so good, so good. I'm very impressed with that.
That's a great, like I said, out of the box.
Yeah, out of the box.
That does everything it wants you to do.
Yep.
And more.
How big's the tank?
21 litres.
And they're saying what, about 400k range?
About 400.
Okay. Which is
if
all.
If you're not opening the throttle up and going nuts, you'll get a little bit more than that.
Guilty. Yeah. But when you have a look at what's on the market, you know, you've got the T7, which was a giant killer. It killed off the Africa Twin. Got a lot of guys up from little bikes like that up onto twin cylinder bikes. The T7's great, but what's this, 5k more, 6k more? 5k more than a T7. You're going to spend, as Lotzy said before, you're going to spend a couple of k on suspension of the T7 anyway, just to get it up to kind of reasonable. This has already got sensational suspension. Brakes on it are phenomenal, so good. Like you know, this is Brembo as well, so I know what good brakes feel like.
You got the twin 230s, I think, on the front.
Yep.
Twin piston.
Yep. You know, there's a thing I love about this more than anything else. It's that induction noise. You open that throttle and you can just hear that sucking air. It's just amazing that you can hear the top end of the, top end of the engine working away. It's actually a really, induction noises are underrated. Everyone goes for exhaust noise. I like a good induction noise. But look, it's really simple. Pretty good subframe on it. I think it's actually going to be, in terms of a bike that's going to be able to carry people on adventures it's probably a pretty good thing. What did we say, 110 horsepower?
110, yeah.
110 horsepower and 200 kgs?
That's dry, 221 wet.
221 wet, which I think's what, the T7's 200?
I thought the T7 was more.
Oh, it's, yeah, maybe two, let's say somewhere in there. So around the same weight.
The KDM.
But this has got 30 more horsepower.
Yeah, and some.
And some.
The KDM, I think, is a little bit lighter. The GS is around about. The GS is, I think, slightly heavier.
Well, that's.
And I don't know about the Tiger.
No, the Tiger, yeah.
I think the Tiger's around about the same sort of weight.
Yeah.
About the same weight.
Out of the box, I think Ducati have done a fantastic job with this. But the big but is, how will it go long term in the harsh Australian environment? Yeah, and that's the stuff that's yet to be determined. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying they're the questions that are unanswered and the things that everybody likes to be able to know. Just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you.
So good, mate. Thanks for riding the bike. Very impressed. I think you've done well.
Thanks for staying in contact, and thanks for
It's first ride, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Not the last ride.
I know.
We'll be doing this again.
Oh, look, mate, I want to, and that's it's about getting the miles back under it again and going. So
And I'll get the Africa Twin out. We'll load it up with luggage and go and do some pubs out west, eh?
well, that's the plan.
Yep, perfect.
That's the plan. So yeah.
Awesome.
Mate, enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Yeah, you too, mate. I'm going to head to the beach now, go for a swim.